Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Aran from Aran Academic Planning. This is another installment in our virtual information session series where I'm joined by Michigan representatives from schools all across the United States, Canada, and Europe. And the guest today is from one of those European universities. Bridie Troy from UCD, I'll let you go ahead and take it away for us, please.
Great. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today in this wonderful series. As Matt mentioned, my name is Bridie. I am obviously American based on my accent, based in Chicago. But I'm really excited to introduce you to the idea of studying in Ireland, and specifically at University College Dublin, or UCD for short. For many American students, studying abroad usually means spending a semester overseas. But today we're going to talk about something different, earning your entire bachelor's degree in Ireland. And this is a growing opportunity. It's a growing trend among students today, especially in America. And I'm really excited to tell you why people are choosing this path as opposed to the traditional path at domestic universities. So let's start with the obvious question. Why Ireland? Why would I move to a new country, specifically this country, to earn my undergraduate degree? Well, Ireland offers a really unique combination of advantages for American students. First, it's the only predominantly English-speaking country in the European Union. So this means that you can earn your degree in a great multinational European city, but at the same time, they're speaking your first language. There's no language barrier in your classes, and very importantly, when making friends. Ireland is also consistently ranked among the safest countries in the world. For parents, especially, I know this is an important consideration. I can say when I was a student there, I felt so comfortable and safe walking around campus and walking around Dublin itself. It's a very welcoming city. The country is incredibly welcoming as well, very multicultural, even though it's relatively small. It's about, I want to say, maybe a sixth the size of Texas. People from all over the world live, work, and study in Ireland. So, if you've ever seen pictures of Ireland's green countryside, our coastlines, our beautiful castles, I have a picture of here, you'll find that they are every bit as beautiful in person as you can imagine. Ireland, specifically Dublin, has one of the youngest populations in Europe, which makes it a really great, energetic atmosphere for students. It's a really fun place to live as a young person. One practical benefit that surprises many families in the US is that US citizens do not need a visa to study in Ireland. So if you are looking to leave the country for your undergraduate degree, Ireland's a great option because you don't have to worry about visa paperwork or going to the embassy beforehand. Instead, you just register with immigration once you get there, and it's a much simpler process than in many other countries. Finally, Ireland has become a global leader in sustainability, innovation, and education, which makes it a really exciting place to live while preparing for an international career. UCD is located in Dublin, Ireland's capital city. One of the things that students love most is that Dublin feels like a really big city without being overwhelming. So it's very walkable. There's great public transportation. It's really easy to navigate, but at the same time, it is the largest city in Ireland. So there's always something going on. It has repeatedly been voted one of Europe's friendliest cities, and Irish hospitality is something that you'll notice almost immediately. It's really easy to meet people, to get chatting with people, and to make friends once you're over there. Another huge advantage to going to school in Dublin, in Ireland, or in the European Union in general is travel. For UCD, our students will spend so many weekends just interrailing or backpacking across Europe. Dublin Airport offers really inexpensive flights to some of the major capitals in Europe where you'll be able to get student discounts and stay for just 1 or 2 nights because the flight's only, 1 to 2 hours, so it's easy to get there and back. Professionally, Dublin is also Europe's technology hub. It's considered the Silicon Valley of Europe. So many of the world's largest companies, including Google, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, LinkedIn, they have their major European headquarters here, which gives our students at UCD a great leg up in getting an internship there, getting a job there, and making themselves known for these larger companies and getting that international work experience. That means that students have these internship and networking opportunities even before they graduate. So now we're on to UCD specifically. We are a top 100 university, which means we have a great reputation around the world. We have a great reputation in Ireland and abroad. UCD is actually Ireland's largest university, and it's the first choice university for both Irish and international students. The campus is located just 3 miles south of Dublin city center. So students do get that traditional campus experience while still having easy access to everything that the city offers. The campus itself is beautiful, modern, and spacious. It's really easy to walk around with your other students. You don't feel like you're just in a building in a city. You do feel like you have a college campus. UCD has more than 19,000 undergraduate students, and we've been educating students for over 160 years. So it is a very modern campus, but it's steeped in a really rich tradition and history within the Irish context. One thing that really stands out to me about UCD is the amount of support available. So whether it's academic advising, career planning, wellness services, peer mentoring, or international student support with immigration or health insurance, UCD has a strong emphasis on helping students succeed both inside and outside the classroom. I did mention we are recognized as Ireland's most sustainable campus, which shows a really strong commitment to environmental responsibility. One thing that makes UC feel so international is the diversity of the student body. We are Ireland's global university, and about 1/3 of our total student body from both undergraduate and graduate students come from outside of Ireland, representing over 150 countries. So you're going to make friends from around the world. So this is largely an American or an Irish university. So you are with majority Irish students, you're getting that Irish experience, but at the same time, you're not going to be the only person there with an American accent, which is pretty nice. Students from nearly every US state attend UCD, along with students from across Canada. So you're going to be making friends that you might be able to connect with even once you graduate and come back home. And after you graduate, you will join a worldwide alumni network of more than 300,000 graduates. UCD is actually ranked #1 in Ireland for graduate employability, which reflects the strong reputation the UCD degrees have with their employers. So UCD does offer over 70 undergraduate degree programs. So whether you're interested in business, engineering, science, medicine, architecture, law, psychology, everything, there are a wide range of options available. One thing I encourage students to remember is that universities outside the US generally expect you to have a stronger sense of what you'd like to study before you begin. General education requirements are not as popular over there. We do have a flexible pathway. UCD is actually the only university in Ireland that does offer a flexible pathway. So you could come in to studying something called liberal arts and sciences, which would allow you to take some general education classes before you choose your major. So, UCD, as I mentioned, has two different academic pathways, which gives you more flexibility. The first pathway is called direct entry. Now, this is the typical European pathway. Students apply directly into a specific major and begin studying that subject immediately. Some degrees are completed in 3 years with this, while others take 4 years, depending on the field and any internship/study abroad opportunities you choose to partake in. Now, the second option is the liberal arts and sciences pathway. This is most similar to an undecided major at a US university. During the first year or sometimes longer, you'll explore multiple academic areas before choosing your specialization. An additional advantage of this pathway is that it often has more flexible admission requirements, especially regarding standardized testing. So we are test flexible depending on what program you're going into. But if you have a strong enough GPA in order to get into the liberal arts and sciences program, you might not need an SAT or an ACT score. So whether you've known since middle school that you want to study engineering, or if you're still deciding between psychology, business, and political science, there's a pathway at UCD that will fit your goals. This slide simply illustrates how students move from the liberal arts and sciences program into their chosen major. You can think of it as a bridge. Students build a broad academic foundation first and then transition into specialized degree programs such as business, science, engineering, arts, agriculture, or architecture. It's designed to give students flexibility without delaying their graduation. Applying to UCD is actually a very straightforward process. Students can apply directly through UCD's online application portal or through the Common App. Medicine and veterinary medicine use different programs. Medicine uses a separate application system called Atlantic Bridge. So if you're going to apply to UCD's medicine program, you will go through them as opposed to through the Common App with us. Unlike many American universities, admissions to UCD for our programs are primarily academic focused. This means we're looking carefully at your coursework and your academic preparation. Depending on the program, we may also consider SAT, ACT, AP exams, IB results, or other international qualifications. Not every program requires standardized test scores, particularly as I mentioned, the liberal arts and sciences program and some of the arts programs. As opposed to some US universities, for the majority of our programs, we are not going to be reading essays. We're not going to be looking at extracurriculars. It's really just based on the numbers. So your GPA and any test scores that you can offer. Applications to UCD open each October, and the priority deadline is December 1st, although many programs continue accepting applications until July 1st if space remains. If you're applying to veterinary medicine or medicine, I strongly recommend applying in October, November at the very latest, as those fill up very quickly. Now let's talk about cost, because this is naturally one of the biggest questions families have. And I really want to stress that studying in a different country does not have to break the bank. It's not just for the wealthy families. Anyone can really make this dream a reality. Tuition varies depending on your program, but generally it ranges from approximately $27,000 to $34,000 per year. One nice feature is that tuition typically remains the same throughout your degree, making it a lot easier to plan financially. Like any major city, Dublin does have living expenses, especially housing, but you can look up these prices beforehand and budget accordingly. Students often find that the overall cost compares quite favorably with many private universities in the United States. Now, the good news is that there are several ways that students can help finance their education. Many applicants are automatically considered for merit scholarships when they're admitted. This last year, we had about 80% of our American students that were admitted to UCD that received a merit scholarship, which helps offset that cost of tuition. UC also offers global excellence scholarships that can cover anywhere from 50% or 100% of tuition for outstanding applicants. This does require a separate application, so make sure to apply to UCBD by December 1st if you want to be considered for this scholarship. Different colleges within the university may also offer additional scholarships. One question I receive almost every presentation is whether American Financial Aid works in Ireland. The answer is yes, we are on the FAFSA. So most UCD programs participate in the U.S. Federal Student Loan Program. So you will be able to use those subsidized, unsubsidized, and Parent Plus loans to finance your degree. Private loans are also accepted, and many families also use 529 college savings plans, depending on their plan provider, making sure that they are acceptable international. We are not allowed to accept Pell Grants. This is Department of Education requirement that you can only use those for U.S. colleges. Housing is understandably another very common question that I receive. UCD has accommodation for approximately 4,000 students on campus right now. Currently, we are building another 500 rooms on campus, so by the time you start at UCD, there will probably be even more options. Students typically live in an apartment-style residences with their own bedroom and shared kitchen and living spaces. You could see some photos of it here down below. Living on campus makes it really easy to make friends, to participate in your campus activities, and to get to class. Campus is extremely walkable. You can get from one end to the other in about 10 minutes. So it's really easy to get around. At Residence Life, staff organize programs throughout the year to help students build community, especially during their first semester. So it is a really great way to make some friends right away, to get involved and to get to know the city. One thing I always tell students is that UCD isn't just a place where you attend classes, it's a place where you'll build a community. The campus has outstanding facilities, including a library, a fitness center, a swimming pool, a movie theater, dance studios, restaurants, cafes, really anything you could need. It's there on campus. It's really a self-sustaining community. There are more than 130 different clubs and societies, so it's really easy to stay active. It's so easy to make friends. We have something for everybody, whether you're interested in sports, musics, volunteering, cultural organizations, academic organizations, really what have you. There's probably a club for you. Every new international student is paired with a peer mentor to help answer questions and ease the transition. It's kind of like a built-in friend, which is really nice and what helps you get accommodated once you get there. UCD is the only university in Ireland with a global lounge, which serves as a hub for international students, making it really easy to meet people from all over the world. And all of these support systems really help students quickly feel at home, even though they are in a new country. So, for any sophomores and juniors that might be watching this, if you're not quite ready to commit to studying abroad for 4 years, this is a great opportunity to dip your toes in. Each summer, UCD hosts a high school summer program for students entering their junior or senior year of high school. Participants experience Irish culture, explore academic subjects, they get to stay on campus in one of those apartments, and they get a really great taste of university life abroad before they make that big commitment their senior year. It's a fantastic way to determine whether studying internationally feels like the right fit. So, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really hope that you've learned that earning a degree in Ireland is not only possible, but also an exciting option that offers excellent academics, incredible travel opportunities, and a truly international experience. If you'd like more information, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Anybody on my team is happy to answer questions about admissions, academics, scholarships, financial aid, or student life. And I believe that Matt has a few questions for me now.
Yes, thanks again for a lot of great information. So before we started this, you and I are kind of talking about what would be the primary differences between applying to a school in the US versus, I guess, abroad, for lack of a better term, right? And so when I was watching the presentation, a couple of things kind of immediately caught my mind. One was housing, which you kind of addressed a little bit, but I was wondering for those that aren't part of the 4,000 that have on-campus lodging. What is that process like? 'Cause I know you're in smack dab in the middle of a global city, right? I imagine there's a lot of options, but I was wondering, does the university have any specific partnerships with housing authorities or apartment complexes that makes the process a bit easier as opposed to someone who's coming from the US or Canada or what have you, then where am I supposed to live? And if I'm not one of those 4,000 students?
That is a great question. Yeah. So we do seek to guarantee housing for our first year international students on
Okay.
campus because we understand this is a new city. Even if you've visited Dublin before with your family, you're living in a new city. It's really nice to be able to live on campus. So we do seek to guarantee that you are prioritized for a spot on campus for your first year. It's not mandatory though, so you can live off campus if you want.
Hmm.
After that first year, you can apply to live on campus. It's no longer guaranteed though, but UCD does have a lot of partnerships with student housing across the city.
Okay.
And there are so many like student housing opportunities in Dublin. It's a very student-friendly city.
Okay. And then I guess the other one that kind of jumped out at me was the review process. And you said we don't really look at essays or extracurriculars, which here in the States, and as you know, being living in the States, it's a huge part of the process, and it's often the most overly critiqued and discussed part of the admission process. Is the reason why a lot of families hire consultants to help them with
Yeah.
these more qualitative metrics, right? So, since y'all don't do that, I was wondering, how does the application review process work? Are you assigned? Does someone cover, because you mentioned how they apply to specific programs, except
Yeah.
for that more flexible pathway. Do you have folks in your office that are only responsible for your business programs, your physiotherapy, and how does that work in terms of, I guess, the the committee process, I guess is the phrase we'd use over here, if you're not looking at much beyond just GPAs and test scores?
Yeah, that is a great question. So you could actually right now Google University College Dublin US curriculum entry requirements, and you will find exactly what GPA you need, exactly what test score you need, if any, for every program.
Okay.
If you meet those benchmarks, you're in. If you don't, you're not. So when you apply directly or via Common App, our team divides it by region. So there will be a specific reader divide, like for, let's say, Texas. And they
Hmm.
will look at the applications, they will look at the GPA, they will look at your GPA, they will look at your test scores. If you have a lower GPA but a higher test score, those can even out. And so they'll figure that out for you. Then I review all applications from North America. Every single one will come across my desk. So they will do an initial review. Then they'll send it to me, and I'll say, "You're right, they do have the scores. Welcome to UCD." Or I'll say, "They don't have the scores. Let's suggest this alternative program for them." And we do try to help you find a way to get into UCD, even if it's not in your first choice program, because we know that that might be what you're looking for.
Okay. And so does that mean y'all don't have a wait list?
Well, when our courses meet capacity, so for some of our more popular programs like
Hmm.
engineering, psychology, they might fill up by, let's say, March.
Okay.
After March, we will still review applications and we will say, you have met the requirements. If the program opens up again, then we will reconsider your offer. But for now, you do not have an offer. So it's similar to a wait list, but it's not quite the same thing.
So it's more related to spacing as opposed to the qualifications of the applicant.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Gotcha. And then my last question, as you mentioned, being part of the EU, being, I guess, the only primary English speaking member of that for the last few years, right? I was wondering, and I asked this question to my uh, American and Canadian college admissions colleagues about relationships with other schools in proximity, right? So you're part of this huge multinational network of members, right? What does that kind of look like for any UCD students that want to explore? Maybe taking some courses at a university in Italy or France or Germany or what have you. What does that
Yeah.
kind of look like for students at y'all's school?
Yeah, so almost all of our programs have a study abroad option. So we have partnerships around Europe. We have so many in Europe, but we also have partnerships in the US. If you want to study abroad back in the US, we have partnerships in Asia, South America, Australia. We really have them all over. And so there is that opportunity to spend a semester or a year studying at another place or maybe interning at a new place. I know some students, actually, when I was studying with UCD, I was able to get an internship with the Irish Parliament. And some of my classmates got internships in Brussels working with the EU. And these were all for class credit, which was very cool. So there are a lot of really cool partnerships there. So academically, there's so many options. Also just socially or personally, like I said, it's so easy to just jump over to Italy for the weekend, really cheap and stuff. So you do kind of get that global perspective once you're over there.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I think it's a good place to end on. So on behalf of Bridie and myself, thank you for tuning in.
Okay, thank you.